Hill. Luke, it's been interesting to watch this develop over the last few weeks. We've seen 3 members quit the Republican study group. This is sort of the, one would argue, the Tea Party caucus before there was a Tea Party, led by Jim Jordan. So Joe Bonner of Alabama, Martha Roby of Alabama, Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, all have left. Adam Kinzinger of Illinois thinking about leaving. Luke, what's going on here?
Well, Chuck, the Republican Study Committee is the ideological sort of right-wing faction of the House GOP conference on Capitol Hill, and there's been a lot of angst amongst rank-and-file members that say their standards are getting to be ridiculous because they bring the party so far to the right they make them very difficult to be elected nationally or in any semblance of being mainstream. And what am I talking about? Well, there's a real connection, they believe, between the Republican Study Committee and the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank, on a thing called a scorecard, meaning that the Heritage Action, a part of the foundation, has a scorecard that scores Republican members on every single vote they take on Capitol Hill, and a lot of those votes they bring very far to the right. So what am I talking about? There's a number. Eric Cantor, Chuck, a guy that everyone in the country knows is conservative, everyone in Washington knows is conservative, under this Heritage Action scorecard gets 61%. Why? A thing like patent reform that almost every Republican supported, which was part of the GOP jobs message. We're going to reform the patent system to make it easier for job creators to create jobs here in America. That was opposed by Heritage Action because they believed it to be wasteful. It's votes like that that people like Bonner, who is the most prominent member to leave the RSC because he was scoring at 56%, have said have gotten to be ridiculous. A lot of GOP leadership aides will talk privately saying that this group is going way too far to the right, that it's hurting the general election possibilities of a lot of Republican candidates, and that's why you're sort of seeing these guys move away. I mean, if Eric Cantor and Kevin McCarthy score 61%, 62%, that puts up a lot of alarm bells in people's minds. And not to mention, a lot of these guys from other groups, like the American Conservative Union, they're all over 95%. I believe Cantor's close to 100%.
Right.
So it's this type of scoring that people on Capitol Hill are seeing as being divisive, and it could be a real problem.
And Luke, Jim Jordan,